hard-headed, stubborn. Greg thinks I'm still that way now. I'm not. But I was hard-headed. I wanted to do things my way. And kids, I want you to understand something. I know that through your eyes right now, you think you know everything. I thought I knew everything. But I know I was lying around the next corner, and I kept making worse decisions and worse decisions and more decisions that fed into the next wrong decision. I started doing really good in business. I didn't do very good in school. Started making a lot of money. By the time I was 26 years old, I was a millionaire. Driving every kind of car I could ever imagine, making more money than I ever dreamt possible. But I was the most miserable person you would have ever met. I was not happy. I thought that the more money I made, the more things I bought, the more possessions I controlled, the more people looked up to me, that you're supposed to be happy. But when I got to that point in my life, it was disappointing because I still wasn't happy. I was miserable. I started chasing this idea that it's going to be the next car that I bought, or the next house that I bought, or the next boat, the next. And the more you start chasing it, the more miserable you become. It's like being in the desert. You're dying of thirst. You want something to drink so bad. You want to taste this thing called peace. You want to taste this thing of, I finally made it. I accomplished something. I've got something. But everything I bought, I was still thirsty. There's something missing in my life. By the time I was married, I got back from Desert Storm. Had 3 beautiful children. But I was so busy trying to build this empire, I spent no time with my family at all. My wife looked at me. I just bought a brand new Harley Davidson. My wife looked at me. She goes, "When are you going to submit to God?" My wife had gotten saved at this point. And I said, "Man, I got plenty of time for that. When I get older, right now I'm still young. I'm going to have me some fun." That night I wrecked my motorcycle. The following week I wrecked another car. The following week I flipped the car right off the bridge. Things just started happening and it wasn't fun. I wasn't having any fun. My wife finally got tired of my lifestyle and threw me out of the house. Things started unraveling on my life. So I said, "Whoa, stop. I don't want to lose my family. I don't want to lose my kids. You know what? I'll start going to church." But see, I still hadn't made a commitment right here. I decided to make a change. I started going to church, doing a good thing. I quit going out with my friends as much. Cut it back. I was still going out when I wanted to, but I cut it back. Going to church on Sunday, trying to do the right thing. Cleaned up my life. And I thought, you know what? This isn't too bad. I got my wife, I've got my kids, I'm making decent money. You know, I'm not arguing with my wife as much. You know, I can cut back on the partying a little bit. This is fine. This is okay. I did that for 3 years, thinking everything was going just fine. And then I get a knock at the door. That's the FBI. FBI let me know that my partner, who was my dearest friend, my best friend, had been stealing money from me the whole time I'm out having fun, traveling, partying. My best friend embezzled over $500,000 from me. And I didn't touch that money. I didn't get to spend that money. But I now had to pay the consequences for that money. Even though I didn't take it, I left the door open in my life to allow the enemy to come in my life. And even though I had changed my life somewhat, I still didn't make that commitment. I still didn't make that change here. On the outside, things were going okay. But right in here, I still hadn't submitted myself to Jesus Christ. I was still living my way. Next thing I know, I find myself inside of a prison. And you see cinder blocks. And it's hard for you to imagine this, but it's a big room with 40 beds in it. It's designed it's a holding station. And God being who He is, He knows how to get you. I get in this room, and when I get there, I'm one of 40 people. But in the next 2 days, I'm one of 1 people. I'm by myself. And there's no computer. There's no cell phones. There's no one around. There's no TV. It's just me, myself, and I arguing with I am. Let me tell you something. I am doesn't lose.
That's right.
I am is on the throne. And we went to wrestling that night. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, behind that center block wall, let me tell you something. I bowed my knee for the first time. And I submitted myself for the first time, 100% to the name of Jesus Christ. I bowed my knee at 2 o'clock in the morning. And inside that prison, let me tell you something. I was more free in that prison than I have been all my life outside that prison. Because I finally understood something. That my freedom, my peace, and my joy wasn't in a car. That my identity wasn't in what I owned or what I accomplished. My identity was glorifying the name of Jesus Christ, even if it meant living in a trailer. Even if it meant never having $1 million. Because I was more free in that prison with no money than I was when I had all the money in the world. Let me tell you something. This thing right here, little piece of puzzle. And the only person that has that piece of that puzzle is Jesus Christ. You can chase it in the drugs. You can watch MTV and chase it in the 24-inch rims and chase it in this and that. But it's only in Jesus Christ. I'm here to tell you, he's the only thing that can make you feel complete. He's the only thing that can change your life and make you feel like you don't need anything. I don't need anything. Now, he gives me, he blesses me, but I'm not in need of anything. Now, my wife has a husband. My wife finally has a man. My children have a father who submits to the Father. And the greatest thing I can tell you is that my kids, for the first time, are getting the correct presentation of what serving the Father is like. You fathers out here in this room, you have a direct impact on how your kids perceive Jesus Christ and how they see God. I thank God every day that I get an opportunity to impart that into my kids. Now I get to spend my life with these great men, sharing the gospel and telling you that Jesus Christ is the King of Kings. He is the Lord of Lords. And if you'll submit, he will knock your socks off. You'll never be the same. Thank you very much. Awesome.